As the dusty fog subsides, Lin Luo and his substitutes stared in complete shock. In front of them was a man who was more than 8 feet tall, with a fierce face as sharp as a blade and a huge black beard which intensified his gaze, wearing an enormous black beaded necklace and a bright silver armor garment around his waist. Liu's loud voice rang out in Lin Luo's direction. Dongma Tianzuan. Obey my order. Kill the thief. With a loud boom, Dongma Tianzuan majestically stepped forward. His face became slightly solemn as he commented, "True martial arts command will destroy evil spirits in the world." With a calm expression, Lin Luo continued to stare from behind his substitutes as Dark Emperor stepped forward and said to Lady Kagaya to guard the master. With both substitutes in agreement, Dark Emperor launches towards this giant man with his iron fist, to which he casually blocks with his left palm. As Dark Emperor's attack was rendered ineffective, Lady Kagaya decided to join the fray. Dashing forward, she unsheathes her sword and slashed Dongma Tianzuan's surging finger, deflecting it. Lin Luo watched the scene and finally understood what Lu Yu's talent described in the future diary meant. He thought to himself, Dongma Tianzuan is obviously not a substitute, but more like some kind of summoned projection of a god. It's obviously different from the old man behind Lu Yu, and its light movement speed and attack speed are very fast. As a celestial master, his talent and abilities are so abnormal. Just a summon from him can tie with my 2 SS-level substitutes without using any skills. According to the content that appeared in the future diary, Liu has other methods. It should be a technique similar to this projection of gods that is cast by borrowing the power of the gods. On the other side, Lu Yu, guarded by 2 substitutes, smirks as he watches the battle and thought, "It's pretty much what I expected. 3 substitutes, 2 combat types, and the other one should be an auxiliary type. This Dark Emperor is definitely what I expected, and although he is indeed more powerful than the ordinary SS Awakeners, compared to me, it is still like a mayfly. With just 1 Dongma Tianzuan, he has to use 2/3 of his strength." And with that thought, Liu said calmly, "That's okay for now. Dongma Tianzuan, you come back first." Seeing this, Lin Luo taunted loudly and unceremoniously, asking, "Why don't you fight? Is the mighty heavenly master actually scared?" Hearing this, Liu laughed, obviously looking down at Lin Luo, considering his attacks as a mere ineffective struggle of a dying animal trying to stay alive. "How is that possible? Dark Emperor, even if you are reborn, I will not be afraid of you." Lin Luo's eyes turned cold hearing this. He thought, how does he know this? Is there really a way to see into the future in Taoism? As Lin Luo and his substitute stood with a gloomy expression, he questioned Lu Yu, "Is this why you want to kill me?" "Oh, that's not the case. I just want to prove that even if you are reborn from the future, my strength will definitely be above yours." After that brief exchange, Lin Luo questioned in thoughts, "We? Besides me, there's another? I didn't expect that I was not the only one who was reborn. In addition to dealing with this Lu Yu, I have to find a way to investigate this matter later and conceal the news of rebirth." Just then Lu Yu stretched out a hand, pinched a Taoist finger again, and whispered, "Qing Yuan Miao Dao Xinjuan. Help me." Suddenly, a handsome young warrior appeared, rigged out in white and golden armor with a third eye and auspicious clouds under his feet. With a look of pride on his face, he replied, "Yang Jian got the order." Looking visibly nervous, Lin Luo said in a confused tone, "The legendary Yang Jian?" Seeing this, Liu mocked Lin Luo, saying, "Just now I only sent out Dongma Tianzuan, and I was able to resist your 2 substitutes. How about it? It's still not too late to kneel down and beg for mercy. What are you?" Liu was cut off when he saw a gun in Lin Luo's hand. The expression on his face suddenly became dull, then confused, and finally he couldn't help but laugh uncontrollably. "Dark Emperor, are you stupid? In what era do you still use guns? Do you want to defeat me with this crap?" Lin Luo points the gun to his head and replied, "I prepared it in advance, and this gun is not for you." Lu Yu, still in disbelief of what he's seeing, raised his hands in a pleading gesture and mockingly said, "Hey, if you can't beat me, you don't have to commit suicide, okay? How about I show mercy and let you think you beat me?" When Lin Luo heard this, he smiled and murmured in a low voice, "I don't want to commit suicide, but you have summoned 4 of them, so naturally I can't fall behind." His finger no longer hesitated and slowly pulled the trigger. And just like that, the gun went off with a loud bang. The bullet also came out instantly with a loud noise at a speed of more than 300 meters per second. The distance between the muzzle of the gun and the side of Lin Luo's head was less than 10 centimeters. In an instant, the unimaginably fast bullet was less than 1/10 of a millimeter away from the side of Lin Luo's head. Its wind pressure also blew Lin Luo's hair slightly. But this tiny distance was a chasm that the bullet could never cross. Time pauses again at this moment. Lin Luo felt violent power gushing out from his body, and he shouted suddenly, "Savior, come out." The next moment, circles of terrifying blue flames burned crazily at his feet, and then the blue flames shot straight into the sky. And just like that, Savior casually flicks the bullet away with his finger. A towering slender figure that was both gentleman and evil, gently waving his broad black wings as they rose up, quickly emerged from the blue flames behind Lin Luo. His majestic voice thundered, saying, "Savior is at your disposal, my majesty." When Liu saw this scene, he couldn't help but raise his eyebrows slightly, and a smirk formed on his lips. It's a fancy summoning method, but you actually have 4 substitutes. No wonder you were so arrogant, but it's still not enough. Like I said earlier, you have already summoned 4 of them, so it's only natural that I do the same and not fall behind. Lin Luo replied with a slight smirk of his own. Liu waved his hand and shouted, "Dongma Tianzuan and Qing Yuan Miao Dao Xinjuan, obey the order. Defeat them." And just like that, Dongma Tianzuan and Qing Yuan Miao Dao Xinjuan both responded in agreement, and at the same time their figures took a stance, ready to engage in a fight. Lin Luo, similar to Lu Yu, also waved his hand and shouted loudly, "Come on. The 3 of you, defeat these shrimp soldiers and crab generals. Capture Lu Yu." The 3 substitutes did not hesitate at all, and directly dashed forward to face the projections of the 2 gods one-on-one. Dark Emperor, wanting to continue from where they left off, faced Dongma Tianzuan alone. Then, Lady Kagaya suggested that she deals with Qing Yuan Miao Dao Xinjuan while Savior takes responsibility for taking down the old man with the Jade Rui and the female Taoist. However, Savior replied that they should rather wait and deal with the immediate somewhat projections of the gods first. And with that, he proudly tells her to go help Dark Emperor while he face off with Qing Yuan Miao Dao Xinjuan. Hearing this, Lady Kagaya didn't say much, stopped in her tracks, and rushed towards Dongma Tianzuan in a flash. A beam of golden light shot out from Qing Yuan Miao Dao Xinjuan's third eye, as he immediately sneered for being underestimated. He commented, "It seems that this deity has not come to Earth for a long time. How dare a little ant dare to fight against me? Be careful, my weapon has eyes." But Savior flickered as he arrogantly told Qing Yuan Miao Dao Xinjuan to shut up with his shameless talk. He stretched out his hands to create a blue transparent small world in the form of a rectangular prism. Savior then directed it towards Qing Yuan Miao Dao Xinjuan, to which he effortlessly sliced it into 2. "You dare to do this mere trick in front of me." However, at the moment when the small world was cut open, a spark instantly lit up in the middle, then bang, followed by multiple violent explosions that instantly engulfed Qing Yuan Miao Dao Xinjuan. Savior didn't bother to pay attention to the other party. His palm wide opened with his hand still outstretched. He watched as continuous violent explosions exploded crazily in the air. In this one-on-one situation here, the self-proclaimed deity gritted his teeth with his eyes somewhat closed. He struggles to fend off Savior's new world with his spear, beaten left and right, step by step, and was moments away from being defeated. However, Liu stretched his left hand and said, "Oh please, Guanyin, take action." The female Taoist next to him closes her eyes faintly and calmly said jade pure bottle when she heard this. She gently placed a flower into the jade purification bottle in her hand, and a large stream of green light aura rushed out of it, instantly healing the injuries of the somewhat embarrassed Qing Yuan Miao Dao Xinjuan. Lin Luo was visibly surprised when he saw this scene, and he thought, the damage caused by the explosion of the small world created by Savior was actually healed in an instant. No, if I let him fight any longer, it will only consume my energy in vain. If this Liu gets desperate and fights with us, then I won't be able to find a chance to take action. Lin Luo hurriedly shouted, "All 3 of you, come back." Savior momentarily glanced at Qing Yuan Miao Dao Xinjuan without giving up, but still waved his wings and coolly turned back towards Lin Luo. Liu laughed like a madman when he saw this. "What? You don't dare to fight anymore? Then let me take action." Stretching out his hand, he loudly shouted, "Go together, blow them up." Lin Luo calmly observed the situation and thought, "Very good. So far, everything is similar to what was recorded in Future Diary. Looks like Lu Yu is finally going to take action." Lin Luo didn't choose to continue to waste energy making wishes to offset this wave of suppressing power and fight head-on with the opponent. Instead, he directly activated the S-Talent Perfect Fusion without hesitation. He held an empty hand, and a reddish-black aura emerged for his palm, and then he said loudly, "Dark Emperor, Lady Kagaya, Savior. Perfect fusion. Trinity, the strongest form. Obviously, fusing 3 peak SS substitutes at once should have exceeded the S-Talent Perfect Fusion's limit. Fortunately, as soon as this power was activated, the S-Talent Perfect Fusion was successful. Dark Emperor and Savior looked at each other, and each transformed into massive dark and blue flames, simultaneously surrounding Lady Kagaya. Now, when the dark and blue flames faded, Lady Kagaya was wearing a black-horned helmet, jet black armor, and holding a red and black longsword. Black and purple flames wrapped around her body like clouds. Lady Kagaya in her composite form. Trinity Kagaya. An SS+++ level Lady Kagaya in her composite form with fusion objects Dark Emperor and Savior, strength of 600, 10 for normal people, agility of 600 with intelligence of 88, defense of 400 with HP of 10,000, energy of 600 with both growing up rate and energy recovery speed unknown, and 200 meters of action distance. Seeing the attribute panel, Lin Luo clenched his fist excitedly and with a bright smile commented that this fusion is comparable to SSS level. As Trinity Kagaya faced all 4 opponents with cold eyes and unwavering stance, she unsheathes her sword without any sign of weakness. And with a slight movement of her feet, her heroic figure disappeared instantly with violent sonic boom, dashing towards the old man, and with the Jade Rui in his hand, he tried to suppress Trinity Kagaya with the invisible force of his treasured weapon. But before he could wave the Jade Rui, it was sliced into multiple pieces in an instant. At this time, Trinity Kagaya exploded with a full 600 points of agility. The moving speed directly reached 420 meters per second, which was far faster than the speed of sound, which is about 343 meters per second. With the old man's treasured weapon destroyed, rendering him defenseless, Trinity Kagaya then charges towards Qing Yuan, Miao Dao Jinjuan, and Dongma Tianzuan. As she swings her sword with unyielding strength, Dongma Tianzuan, with a staggering speed of his own, evade the blade and acknowledge Trinity Kagaya's swift and effortless use of her sword. However, Trinity Kagaya didn't give a shit about the compliment and declared that anyone who stands in her way will die. Seeing this new development, Liu slightly smiled, reached from something in his robe, thinking that although he can continue to summon the projection of gods, it consumes energy and cannot convince the opponent in one breath. Only by showing overwhelming strength can this Dark Emperor completely surrender to his feet. And with that thought and a smile still on his face, he calmly said, "Dark Emperor, I admit that you do have something, but trying to defeat me with these little tricks is still too wishful thinking." And with that, he took out a simple brass-colored token from his robe and continued, saying, "I will let you experience the hundreds of years of inheritance of my celestial master lineage." He then placed the brass-colored token directly on his forehead, and with a solemn expression, started saying, "The weather is turbulent, but my way is prosperous. The Celestial Master's lineage has been passed down for hundreds of years, and my disciple, Luo, is the 66th Celestial Master." And with that said, his words were directly injected into it. Suddenly, countless scenes appeared in front of him like a revolving lantern. Lin Luo watched this scene with a visibly nervous face, somewhat puzzled as to what Liu was doing. Then we see the scenes appearing in front of Liu. January 11, 1821. Zhang Daolin, the 56th generation Heavenly Master, single-handedly suppressed Gui Che, who had been doing evil for many years. Saved the local people from dire straits. July 7, 1937. Junior Brother Liu, the inheritance of Tianchi sect is left to you. Senior Brother Zhang, there is war and chaos outside right now. You know that this trip is very dangerous. Why do you insist on going your own way? In the prosperous times, we closed the mountains to practice, and in troubled times, we went out to save lives. Our Taoist hearts have been tempered, and this is what we deserve. The world is in turmoil. The 60th Heavenly Master Zhang Fuji resolutely came out of the mountain and devoted his meager efforts to the great cause of saving the common people. August 15, 1993. Wei, my teacher has calculated that 30 years from now, the world will usher in an unprecedented new era. You must choose your successor carefully and create an era that belongs to our Heavenly Master sect. Lu Jiwei is sincere and obeys his teacher's orders. Liu, you are the most outstanding disciple of our Tianchi sect for hundreds of years. Take the Celestial Master's order and go down the mountain. The spirits of many ancestors in heaven will protect you. Nowadays, the world here has changed drastically, and the era that belongs to our Heavenly Master sect has arrived. Don't worry, Master. I, Liu, will definitely live up to Master's orders. countless heroic scenes spanning hundreds of years of inheritance. It was finally fixed as the scene before he went down the mountain. Liu opened his eyes suddenly, made a seal with his hand, and read word for word. I, Liu, the 66th Heavenly Master. Please all the ancestors show up to help me. Before he finished speaking, a tall or short, old, middle-aged or young figure in Taoist robes began to appear quickly behind him. These figures have expressionless faces, but each one of them carries an invisible power. Lin Luo stood in the distance and counted carefully. There were 12 god projections, each one is comparable to an S-class substitute. With such strong power, the Tianchi sect in his previous life turned into a folk cult in his hands. This ability to shake people is even more disgusting than mine. No wonder the future diary doesn't use all his strength. I can't beat him at all. What a waste. Meanwhile, Trinity Kagaya seems to be momentarily holding her own against these projection gods. She released a burst of suppressing aura. Black flames wrapped around her body instantly expanded and turned into a black circular sky, forcing back the 3 figures in Taoist robes that were quietly attacking. 2 figures in Taoist robes then appeared in front of Liu when they saw this scene. One took a stance and began to make seals with his hands, and at the same time, the other also raised his hand again and shouted, "Golden light locking god curse. Tianzuan's majesty." These 2 figures in Taoist robes were above S level and they exert a powerful double binding force at the same time. In an instant, Trinity Kagaya was wrapped with golden chains, firmly restraining her in their void, and even the black flames on her body became wilted. Then, a massive golden bell directly formed on top of Trinity Kagaya, adding to the golden chains, finally suppressing her in the void. Seeing that the overall situation had been decided, Liu Yu's expression became relaxed. He spoke condescendingly and said calmly, "Black Emperor, you lose." In his eyes, the black-robed substitute behind Lin Luo was obviously a useless auxiliary substitute. But now Dark Emperor's strongest substitute has been suppressed, and it is obvious that he is completely helpless. It was time to conquer him completely. Then Liu Yu thought, after subduing the Dark Emperor, I will go to find you, Taijie. The 2 people who travel back from the future will be under my command. Then it will be the time for my Tianchi sect to truly rise. This heavenly master has always cherished talents. If you're willing to kneel down and kowtow obediently and become my younger brother, I will be able to forgive you. However, Lin Luo looked at the domineering Liu Yu and said slowly, "You are indeed a generation of heavenly masters, order Liu Yu. It's a pity that your so-called hundreds of years of inheritance will be ruined in my hands today." Hearing this, Liu Yu, looking visibly annoyed, questioned, "What did you say?" Lin Luo just smiled, and in his hand was the yet-to-be-born fetal movement. He silently thought, "It's time. This is my only chance. Activate Emotional Detonator." Then, Lin Luo closed his eyes and murmured, "Fetal movement is a double-edged sword. Once you make the wrong choice, you will accidentally hurt yourself. I must choose the most appropriate emotion to possibly resolve this crisis. Feel the emotions of all living creatures within a radius of 300,000 meters." Then the scenes of countless emotions played out in Lin Luo's mind. "Shut up and stop crying. Go and get it for me. Please, someone come and save me. Help, someone please help me." Anxiety, fear, helpless, despair, and countless emotions. Lin Luo felt them all. No, these emotions are wrong. Wait, is this? Just then, Lin Luo felt another emotion in another community, where the white mist and monsters have been completely cleared away. Reporter Yao, the video you brought back is so precious. I will definitely tell everyone that this crisis can be overcome. We are capable of defeating these monsters. Amplify all signals and push the photos taken by reporter Yao Mushi to all residents as much as possible. Dark Emperor's video of fighting the Wormhole Guardian. Video pushed successfully. I hope more people will watch this video and never give up the will to live. Everyone, Dark Emperor proved to us that these monsters are not invincible. Yes, it is our duty as soldiers to protect our homes and people and serve our motherland. This operation, enter the urban area of Hangzhou and rescue the trapped people. That's all. God bless our country. With united will, we are not afraid of disasters. There is help. We have help. The country is here to save us. As long as we are united, monsters are not scary. We must believe in the country and the government. We will definitely get through it. And with a satisfied smile on his face, Lin Luo opened his eyes and said, "Future diary, don't deceive me." He then raised the fetal movement up in the sky and shouted, "I made a decision. My new substitute, you will be born from the hopes and prayers of thousands of people in this city. Infinite light began to radiate out in all directions from this little pink flesh ball. This light is not dazzling, but very gentle. It feels like the radiance of motherhood, like a guiding light in a confused life. The little pink flesh ball hatches as countless feathers of light suddenly came out of it. And with that, a girl with waist-length silver hair and delicate features, in a plain white dress, with wings on her back, quietly suspended in a void with infinite light radiating in all directions like an angel descending to the mortal world. She turned around and showed a gentle smile to Lin Luo. "Dear host, I am an angel of hope born from the hopes of millions of people to help you eliminate all difficulties." Again, with a warm smile, Lin Luo quickly checked her attribute panel. An SS level substitute, Angel of Hope with strength of 88, 10 for normal people, agility of 150 with intelligence of 140, defense of 100 with HP of 8000, growth of 180 with 60 meters of action distance, energy of 400 with 600 power of hope, and energy recovery speed which consume power of hope to recover energy. Her panel then explains how she obtains the power of hope, which was when it is born. It will directly collect the power of hope from the hearts of all creatures within a radius of 300,000 meters. After being born and formed, it needs to respond to the hope in the hearts of living beings in order to replenish the power of hope. Her SS-level overload existence substitutes are too powerful, and they require continuous energy consumption just to appear in reality. Every hour of existence in reality will consume 1 point of energy. She also has a skill, Endless Life, which consume power of hope to make a substitute use abilities without consuming energy, or to make the host use skills without consuming mana. And the target that receives the blessing can gain 20% more power than the limit by consuming additional energy. Its cooling time of 10 minutes. Then, a skill also called Gift of Hope, which gives Feather of Hope to mortals. When mortals consume Feather of Hope, they can gain part of the power to realize hope. Mortals who obtain the Feather of Hope can communicate with the Angel of Hope through prayer and borrow part of their power. Consumption is 1 to 100 energy points. And finally, Hope Blooms, which also consume power of hope to give a living being the power to realize the hope in his heart within a short period of time. Just then, when Liu saw Lin Luo summoning another powerful SS-level substitute, he questioned himself, "What's the use of summoning so many auxiliary substitutes? My celestial master sects, which has hundreds of years of inheritance, cannot be defeated by a little person like you." And with that thought, he grinned and shouted, pretending to be mysterious, "Please take action, ancestors. Eliminate these demons and defend the Tao." All the figures in Taoist robes said yes in unison and launches towards Lin Luo. When Lin Luo saw those imposing figures in Taoist robe, he smiled brightly and said, "Oh, Lu Yu, no matter how powerful your lineage of heavenly masters is, how can it compare with the hope of millions and millions of living beings?" And with that, he finally stopped holding back and roared fiercely, "Activate Endless Life, Hope Blooms." The holy and beautiful Angel of Hope suddenly closed her eyes and stretched her hands to both sides, and an enormous gush of radiant golden aura covered the entire area, instantly enveloped Trinity Kagaya, rejuvenating her. The power of hope was constantly injected into her body, and her power exceeded its limit at this moment. In front of her, no one can stop her. Immediately after receiving the blessing, her eyes suddenly brightened and she exerted all her strength, exceeding the limit of the golden chains, allowing her to break free in an instant. Then, she roared fiercely, and with a violent sonic boom, like a bolt of thunder piercing the void, instantly dashes towards Liu Yu, declaring that he would die. Before Liu could speak, the Guanyin and the old man substitute beside him had already taken action at the same time. The suppressing power and the water flowing in the sky turned into a tornado vortex, rushing directly towards Trinity Kagaya. However, Trinity Kagaya finally stopped hiding her strength at this time and directly slashed out at the tornado from a distance with a bright red flame. The bright red flame surrounding her expanded instantly, turning into a massive red barrier with a diameter of about 100 meters. The suppressing power and the huge, somewhat waterspout soon hit it directly. Li was about to show off his face, but after a brief toothache-inducing creaking sound, the massive red barrier shattered and turned into an endless cloud of smoke that covered the area. However, he was shocked to find that after the shattered red barrier turned into a cloud of smoke and gradually dissipates, Trinity Kagaya was nowhere to be found. In the next moment, she was in the air with her sword raised, behind Liu Yu's terrified face. Liu broke out in a cold sweat. He quickly turned to a figure in Taoist robe beside him and shouted in a panic, "Patriarch, save me." With immediate effect, Liu suddenly disappeared as Trinity Kagaya's sword strikes the ground. At the same time, the remaining patriarchs and the old man substitute took action at the same moment and surrounded Trinity Kagaya. With the power of suppression of the treasured weapon, another huge jade rui came down on her, and fortunately, she grabbed the treasured weapon effortlessly. Her all-conquering defense bore the full force of the attack and actually withstood its suppression power. Shocked expression registered on the projection of the gods' faces, unable to comprehend what was happening. But in the next moment, the jade rui was smashed into multiple pieces by her red sword. She then launched towards the remaining figures in Taoist robes with an overwhelming pressure. Seeing this, Lin Luo shouted, "Master of Wishes, Angel of Hope, I want Trinity Kagaya's blade to be invincible. Crush everything. Give Trinity Kagaya the power to transcend her limits and defeat her enemies." The two auxiliary substitutes replied in unison that they understood. And just like that, a surging energy flowed through Trinity Kagaya, maxing all of her attacks. And with this unimaginable aura around her, she roared, "100 soldier." Suddenly, two screams rang out, and two arrogant divine projections were directly pierced by 10,000 blades, deleting them into nothing. The blades that pierced the projection of the gods turned into infinite spiral of red flames. As the number of the projection of the gods gradually decreased and dissipated into nothing, they couldn't believe that their heavenly master's order would be defeated as such an embarrassing manner. Hearing this, Liu cursed, "Damn it, why did this woman suddenly become so powerful?" Sensing an opportunity, he murmured to himself that 36 strategies are the best. And like a shameless coward, he made a quick decision to flee. Seeing Liu attempting to run, Lin Luo roared, ordering the succubus queen to use her pink fantasy. Just then, when Liu heard this voice, he was hit from behind with a pink dust and his expression changed in vain, and an ominous premonition surged into his heart. With immediate effect, Liu was completely immobilized by the little loli behind him. The next moment, the scenery in front of him changed instantly. As the old man, together with the remaining figures in Taoist robes, were busy fighting Trinity Kagaya, Liu, at the critical moment, had no immediate offense to fend off Lin Luo's next attack. Lin Luo launches towards Liu with his tentacles. A satisfied smile graced his face. However, before he could fully reach him, the female Taoist decided to take action. She stretched out her arm and her words, "Immortal fat jade dew." A watery stream aura covered Liu. And just like that, Liu suddenly disappeared from the spot as the watery aura was retracted. However, Lin Luo was able to grab the Tianchi order. Staring at it, he thought, "This heavenly master's token is terrifyingly powerful. As long as the master knows its usage, it is simply more powerful than an SSS-level substitutes." And for some reason, Liu suddenly broke out of the illusion. He turned towards the 10 Taoist-robed patriarchs. As all the celestial master's order begun to disappear, the 10 Taoist-robed patriarch who attacked from afar also stared back at Liu with a bewildered expression, and in that moment, he knew everything instantly after a brief stiffness. Then, his figure also begun to fade and disappear into the air. Liu glanced around and suddenly realized that his hands were empty. Heavenly Master's order token, where is it? How did I not know when it disappeared? Lin Luo smiled with a mocking expression, holding the Heavenly Master's token. He commented, "Sure enough, this old man, he is your substitute. Are the other guys summoned by this Heavenly Master order?" Liu immediately glared at Lin Luo, pointed at him and cursed, "Despicable villain, give me back the Celestial Master's order." Lin Luo was sure of winning at this time. He looked at the furious Liu and roared, "I knew you were a deadbeat and a heavenly master. You talk like farts. Do it. Kill him, Trinity Kagaya." Then Lin Luo thought that although Liu, as written in the future diary, would eventually escape at this moment, but with the heavenly master order already in his hands, Liu's strength has been greatly reduced. If he really succeeds in escaping, he have gained a lot anyway. Liu took out a golden token. "Please help me. Leader of the 4 saints of the North Pole, Jinping Yuzhen Shiyuan Jinjuan." However, after Jinping Jinjuan appeared, he did not confront Trinity Kagaya. Instead, he instantly formed a thunder seal on his 4 hands and shouted, "In Yang Thunder God escape." Countless lightning bolts exploded from his body, and in a short time it was like a scorching sun rising as Trinity Kagaya dashes towards Liu with a sonic boom. With a nervous and confused expression, Lin Luo wondered, "This is unexpected. He actually had another hand in store. This big guy is stronger than the previous one." With her long black and red sword in hand, Trinity Kagaya struck directly against the lightning, determined to win this unexpected fail. The bolt of lightning instantly enveloped the two of them, and the next moment, they had disappeared. However, as they were escaping, Liu's voice rang out, "Dark Emperor? Heavenly Master's order will be left here for the time being. I will kill you in the future to avenge today's shame." It didn't take long for the lightning to dissipate. Lin Luo didn't give up when he saw this scene, determined to directly eradicate the source of this situation, shouted, "Master of Wishes, restore everyone's energy and locate Liu's location immediately."